Good morning, everyone. So it's been a little while. I don't know where my sewing mojo has gone, but it's gone somewhere. Anyway, today we're going to try to get it back by forcefully doing a very intense project. Great. I also made cold brew for the first time and I don't get it. Did I do it wrong? It looked like tea. It tastes like milk. Where's the coffee? Anyway, today's project is something I've been looking forward to doing for a little while now, but I just keeps pushing back. So my idea was that I was going to have a day with no appointments, no nothing. I'm going to sit down and sew 18th century stays in a day. This might sound crazy, but it didn't sound so crazy to me when I planned it. I don't know why. My idea was that I was going to use a commercial pre-produced pattern that I did one mock-up of and fixed any major issues, and I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm going to use some historical techniques and some modern ones. Basically anything. The boning channels will be sewn by machine, but anything else that will be visible will not be sewn by machine. So there will be some hand finishing. And in terms of materials, I will also get as close to historical as I can, but yeah. So the plan was to have the whole day for this, but that has already fallen apart and we haven't even started. So I actually ended up booking myself in for dinner with friends, and I actually have a blood test in the lunchtime, so we're going to try and squeeze it. It's 9 a.m. 9ish. So we're going to try to squeeze it into a work day, 9 to 5, with a 1 hour break for the blood test and some food. Let's see how it goes. I think we can get pretty far. Can we go all the way? Unsure. Let's have a look at the pattern. So my pattern is the August Stays pattern by Scroop Patterns. If you were here for my actually hand-sewn historical stays saga, there's a whole video about the mock-up process and like everything I did for that, because that was really intense. I did like 15 mock-ups. This one got one, so we'll see. I cut it out on a 38 bust size. The pattern has 4 pieces. It has a front, which can be historical or theatrical. Then it has a side front, which kind of looks like this, a side back, a back, and a strap, so I guess 5 pattern pieces. So I cut it out on a 38. I did one mock-up. I did some alterations, which I'll run you through really quickly. They were very basic, and it was thanks to the help of my friend Nell on Instagram. I'll link her profile down below. She's amazing. I would highly recommend checking her stuff out. And so the alterations I did were, I had to move this strap bit inwards by about 1.5 inches. I'm not sure if that'll be enough, but a problem I've had with every single pair of 18th century stays that I've tried to make is that the top side digs into my armpit and it's really uncomfortable. I don't know what's wrong with my body. It's clearly not 18th century, but here we are. So I moved that, and then the other thing I did was I shortened the strap by 1 inch because it was just too long. It might need further shortening, I don't know. And then the other thing I did was, no, that's not a pattern piece. This was Nell's advice. She recommended that I add a bit more sway back a bit more sway for the hips, because I have bigger hips. So hope all that works out, because I haven't done a mock-up after that. And now let's quickly talk materials. This is not going to be a short. I need to get to sewing. Materials. So I will have this heavyweight linen. This is a linen I bought in bulk at a super discounted price that I've been slowly using over the past couple of years. So I'm going to cut 2 layers of this, and then in between that I'm going to sandwich some modern day interfaceable buckram. So obviously that's not historical, but it would be common to use something like linen buckram, which is buckram you can make from linen by adding things like zan, you know the word, you know, like the gluey thing. Anyway, I didn't even do that last time. Last time I just bought linen buckram, but I didn't want to have to buy anything for this project. I'm trying to do stash things only. So I did want to make them a little bit different. I didn't want them to be plain. So a couple days ago I did go ahead and dye some of that linen to this pale lilac-y colour like my other stays. It looks a lot more magenta undertone in person. But I've just I wasn't really sold on the colour, and I've just realised that I don't have any matching thread for this. So I couldn't sew it. I'd have to sew it with contrasting thread. I guess that could look cool. Oh my god. So this morning I realised, so I had decided to use this. Then this morning I realised I had no matching thread. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just sew it with the plain cream. And now I'm like, oh, but maybe I could do it with lilac and contrasting thread. And this is meant to be a speed project. I don't have time for indecisions. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna roll for it. Okay, here we go. So 1 to 10 will be plain, 11 to 20 will be lilac. 15, we're going lilac with contrasting thread. Also, it kind of matches. That's really cute. Okay, let's go. I'm pretty sure I should make all my decisions like that from now on. Okay, so first few steps. I really have to get to it. Stop talking, cat. Going to cut out fabric. Well, that's pretty essential. So I'm going to cut out one layer of every single pattern piece out of this, then out of the plain heavier weight linen, and one out of the interfaceable buckram. Then I actually think I'm going to iron on the interfacing to this layer. In my head that just makes sense. And then I'm going to transfer the boning channels and all the markings into the other layer, and hopefully I can like tape it up to a window or something to speed up the process, because that is the slowest part of stay making for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I hate it and I'm dreading it. But let's do cutting, because cutting isn't that bad. Okay, so here we are. It is 10:30 and I have all the pieces cut out, and I've also interfaced the lilac pieces with the buckram. So that's done. So the next step is I'm actually going to trace out the boning channels, which are in these pattern pieces like this, onto this linen layer, because it'll be easier to do it before it's attached to the other linens, because maybe this way it'll be easier to see through. Do you see what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do it. The way I usually do it is that I sort of mark the top end of the channel, the bottom end of the channel, and then I connect them as best I can. But as you can see, some of them are curved, which makes it quite hard. This is my least favorite part about stay making. So we're going to do it, figure it out, and this is going to take forever. So I'll probably see you in a couple of hours. Quick update. So I stepped away from my desk for about an hour and a half because I went to do my blood test. I went to the pharmacy, I had lunch, and I decided to impulse make some peanut butter cookies from TikTok. But here we are. I also managed to finish tracing out, oh, that's the second batch of cookies done. I also finished tracing out the boning channels. This took forever. I don't really have any advice for this. What I do is I mark the top and the bottom of the channel, and then I do little perforations, especially for curves and stuff. I do little perforations along them so that I can do a dot through, and then I sort of connect them. I'd really highly recommend doing it with one of these. This is a French curve. you can connect the curves with this curve, and then it also has like a grid, and I know each boning channel is meant to be approximately 0.8 centimeters, so 8 millimeters. So are they going to be exact? No. Do I care? No. So I'm going to get those cookies out of the oven, and then I'm just gonna, so here's the thing. Next, I would baste it. I would baste this delicious linen sandwich together. But I don't have time for that. It's already 1 p.m. I have 4 hours left before I have to call it in. I think basting everything together would take a minimum of half an hour. But I know that if I don't do it, I'll regret it. So I'm going to baste it. I'm going to baste it and then I'll stitch. So that's done. I've done all the pieces. Sandwich, linen sandwich, that's where we were at. God, my brain is shot. Yeah, that took 50 minutes instead of the 30 I estimated, so that's a great start. We already... Why am I still going at 110% when I know I'm going to finish tonight? You know, but I think if I had the evening, I could do it. I could do it. But well, and I also finished the biscuits, cookies. Yeah, so... In case anyone's wondering, there was a viral TikTok video of these peanut butter cookies that only took 3 ingredients, which was peanut butter, sugar, and an egg. And then made cookies. I added chocolate chips because I don't need any reason to add chocolate, so they're good. They're really good. 1 cup peanut butter, 1 cup sugar, 1 egg. Wild. Anyway. The next step is now to sew the boning channels. I'm gonna set up my 1950s machine. I think she can do it. I'm a little worried because the buckram interfacing is really stiff. And obviously it's adhesive, so there's glue. Don't love sewing through that, but we'll see. It's just gonna be really tedious, it's gonna take a long time. I'm just gonna take my time through it and put on some music. Actually, Spotify made me an automated playlist based on this stuff I listen to, and it called it Moody Mix. And I feel called out, but also every song on there is a banger. So, gonna put on some tunes and sew some boning channels. Let's go. It's done. This took me nearly precisely 2 hours. Oh Jesus, I just noticed this. There's like a dust bunny from my board bin. That's gross. Well, so what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, there's like lots of loose threads. So what I'm going to do is clean those up and then see how much time I have left. I only have 1 hour left for today, which obviously means I have not completed 18th Century Stays in 1 day. I am heartbroken because I think if I wasn't going out for dinner with my friends, I could have done it because I would have been able to work until like 7 p.m, then a quick dinner, then back at it until like midnight and it'd be done. So I'm going to trim some threads, possibly read the instructions. I haven't really done that, but I feel like I need to finish this front edge. It has like an extra seam allowance that needs to be folded back, and so does the back panel. So I'm going to read about those real quick just to see where in the process they recommend that you do that. Hopefully not before the boning channels. Oh crap, maybe it was. Anyway, I'm gonna do that and then maybe do up the main seams if I have time. And if not, I will see you tomorrow for some boning and binding. And that sounded weird. Look, these are all the thread ends I took out of those panels. Crazy. Such a waste. I wish I could make this into new thread. Last check-in. So I turned under the edges of the back and quickly whip stitched them, and then somehow transitioned into a felling stitch. It's just what happens. I think technically you're meant to do this before you do the boning channels, and that's because the boning channels will secure it down and like reinforce that into back, but that ship has sailed, so whatever. They actually recommend that you do that because the next step is actually to do the eyelets, and I get why they put it here. It's so much easier to do eyelets, especially hand sewn, when you've got loose pieces and not a massive stays all together. However, I'm kind of glad I don't get to do it today because I'd forgotten eyelets exist, and I actually hadn't put it into my game plan at all. I can't do hand sewn eyelets because that'll take for freaking ever, but I hate metal eyelets. So usually what I do is I do metal eyelets and then cover them with thread, which is marginally faster than hand sewn eyelets. So I might just do hand sewn eyelets? Probably not. That's not a quick 18th century stays, is it? I guess I will see you tomorrow for this one-day project. Welcome to the unexpected day 2 of this project. So last we left off, quick recap, although no time has passed for you guys, but so I finished the back here. I'm gonna go finish the front, and then I'm going to sew 6,000 eyelets, 14 eyelets, 14 mini eyelets on either side of the front. So that's 28. And then at the back there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another 14. That's a lot of eyelets, and I know that each eyelet takes me 10 minutes. Anyway, it's going to take me a while. I'll see you in a bit. So it has been roughly, oh, you're crooked. It has been roughly an hour, and I've managed to do all my tiny little eyelets. The purpose of these is unknown because I couldn't adjust them in the other stays really. I don't know, but they look pretty, so here we are. So that was an hour. So I have another one of these to do, and then the big eyelets to do, which take longer. So I'm estimating probably another 3 to 4 hours of this. And my back hurts. This is a terrible idea. Why did you let me do this? I would not recommend doing this much work in one sitting, because unless you have much better sewing posture than I do. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go do more eyelets, and I'll get back to you. Hello, and welcome to day 3 of my one-day project. So I had singled out that one day to get everything done, but obviously the rest of my days aren't like that. So I had work to do today and yesterday, so I'm only able to sew in my spare time. Yesterday I did manage to spend 4 to 5 hours sewing a ridiculous amount of eyelets. I really wish I'd planned properly, because then I could have gotten an eyelet press or something and actually made a one-day project, but maybe it is insane to make stays from start to finish in one day. Anyway, that's done. We have loads of eyelets now, and they are tiny. I will say I didn't think they're meant to be this tiny, but I physically couldn't push the awl through the linen anymore. I couldn't, it wouldn't go. So what we're going to do now is pin all the pieces together and sew them by machine. And I'm going to just make sure that, because I've marked the edges, it'll be really easy to align them. And that should give me the main seams. Then I'll probably trim the top and bottom as best I can, and then cut out some binding. No, bone. No, cut out some binding, bind the bottom, no, bone, bind the bottom, bind the top. That should be it. I don't know how long that's gonna take. Okay, so here's the state of affairs. It's actually looking really pretty. I'm pretty happy with that. I did all the seams, including the straps. I'm not sure if you're meant to sew the straps at this point, but I did. I'm just gonna bone it all. Bone it all. So I'm gonna cut, I have synthetic whalebone. I'm just gonna cut it to size, making sure that it's 1/2 inch shorter at the bottom and 1/2 inch shorter at the top. And then I'm gonna file down those edges and then just bone it. This usually takes a while, so probably see you in 3 hours. So no time at all has passed for you, but I am 3 hours later and my hands are a lot poorer. But here we are. It is boned. I think that looks really nice. I did my best. And the next step is, as you can see, I had to unpick the straps because obviously otherwise I couldn't access a lot of this boning. So I'm going to re-sew the straps on. I actually went to read the pattern instructions and now I'm conflicted because they say to use either 3/4 inch wide linen ribbon or tape to bind, or 7 meters of 1 inch and a quarter wide fabric strips on the straight grain, which really intimidates me because of the tabs. I don't know, man. Buy it so straight. Buy it so straight. I guess let's follow the pattern. Let's cut some straight strips. Oh boy, I'm tired. My hands hurt. I don't know why I thought I could do this in one day. It's insane. Insane! So I finished the bottom binding. I know the previous footage of me doing it without any pins or anything was pretty chaotic, and we are usually good leaning here, but I don't know, I just had a feeling. I saw some things online that said that could be a good way to do it, and you know what, I can't complain. It was obviously pretty much the hardest thing I've ever had to sew because I was fighting the boning and everything in it every single moment, but it worked and it was way faster than doing it by hand. I did do the back by hand and I think it's been about 3 hours since I started the binding. Yeah. My hands hurt too much, so alas, we will be going into day 4 tomorrow. And I also realised I also did not account for raw seams. We both know what I'm going to do. You and I, you know what I'm going to do. But I will not be counting those hours because that's entirely optional and you can actually just quickly line these and not bother. But I will bother. So yeah, tomorrow some binding, and then I think I'd like to total up how long this actually took because I've been timing-ish. I think at the moment we're up to 14 hours. 18. We're up to 18 hours. What am I doing? wrap up of this 1 day turned 4 day project. So I think they're lovely. Wow. I think they'll be really comfortable, and I can actually feel the big difference from that little adjustment to this panel by adding just a little bit here and here. I feel like my hips will be super more comfortable. So I think it's been a little while, so I haven't really been, I'm not sure if my calculations are right. I think I tried to mention after each task how long it took me, but I think in total we're up to like 20 hours maybe. And then one thing I didn't show is that I went in and whip stitched down all the seam allowances, and that's just a personal preference. You probably don't have to do that. You could do a much faster lining if you wanted to. That's just, I like it, so I did it. And that took, I think, an additional 2 hours. So 23 hours for stays. I mean, considering a lot of these were a lot of the details were hand done, like the eyelets and like finishing the the binding by hand. I don't know, I think they're really lovely. Obviously this is not what the video set out to be, which is the day project, but here we are. I think they'll work really well for my incoming 18th century projects. And yeah, obviously they're not laced evenly because I'm by myself and I find it really hard to like have to, you know. But yeah, so I'll fix this thing and then I can start on some more 18th century projects. I've been wanting to do some anglaises for ages. I don't know. Let me know down below. What should I do? What 18th century thing should I do? If you have a moment, please check out my Patreon. There'll be stuff here. I'd like to thank my top tier patrons. Melly, Alexa and Lourdes, thank you for sticking with me while I get my bearings in England. And if you'd like to join, there'll be a link in the description box, and up here there's exclusive monthly videos and sometimes even patterns. So have a look, and thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you again next week.